Good morning, students. How are you all? I hope you all are fine. Today we are going to read a poem from your English book 5 that is written by Robert Frost. It is Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening. Take out page number 11 of your book. Let's read the poem first. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. My little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near, between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. He gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sound is the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. The poet was returning back to his house. On his way, he stopped in the middle of a snowy forest. Woods means forest. When he reached there, he was amazed by the beauty of nature. He stopped there to enjoy. He says, "Whose woods are these?" He thinks he knows. I stand for the poet. The poet says that he knows about the owner of the woods. His house is in the village though. His house, the owner's house. He thinks that he knows the owner of the woods, and he also knows that the owner's house is in the village. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. He will not see him stopping there and enjoying the beauty of snow falling and the woods filled up with snow. He says that the owner of the woods will not see him stopping and enjoying the beauty of his woods that are filled up with snow. He, the owner of the woods. The owner will not see him because his house is in the village. My little horse must think it queer. Queer means strange. The poet says that the horse will be thinking it's strange. Why will he be thinking it's strange? To stop without a farmhouse near, because there is no farmhouse near. Farmhouse is a house attached to a farm, especially the main house in which a farmer lives. So that's why the horse is feeling it strange, because there was no farmhouse. A farmhouse provides you with food and shelter, and there was no farmhouse, so there was no purpose of standing aimlessly in the middle of a forest. So the horse is feeling strange that why his master is standing without any purpose at a place where there is no farmhouse. Between the woods and frozen lake. And he is standing between the woods and the frozen lake. Frozen having turned into ice as a result of extreme cold. When there is extreme cold, everything is frozen. Due to extreme cold, the lake's water was turned into ice. The horse was feeling very strange that why is his master standing in the middle of a forest where there is no farmhouse, and he is standing between the woods and the frozen lake without any purpose. On the darkest evening of the year. Darkest evening, the longest night of the year. So it was dark there and there was no farmhouse. He was standing between the woods and the frozen lake. That's why the horse was feeling strange. He gives his harness bells a shake. Who is he? The horse. Harness bells? A belt tied on the neck of a horse to control it. So the horse is shaking his bells. Why is he shaking his bells? To ask if there is some mistake, because he wants to ask a question to his master. To ask if there is some mistake, the horse wants to ask his master that if he is making a mistake by standing in the middle of the forest without any purpose. There was no farmhouse and the night was the darkest evening of the year. The only other sound is the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. Easy, gentle, very light, downy flake, soft pieces of snow. So there was no other sound. That's why the horse was feeling it strange. It was very quiet there. There was no farmhouse. It was the darkest evening of the year, and his master was standing aimlessly there. There was no sound except the sound of gentle wind and snow falling. The poet says, the woods are lovely, dark, and deep. Lovely means very beautiful or attractive. Dark, with little or no light. The poet is saying that the forest is very beautiful. It is filled up with snow, and he is enjoying the beauty of nature. This was the purpose of the poet. He was standing there because he was enjoying the beauty of nature. He was enjoying the snow falling. The words are very attractive, beautiful. He wants to stand there to enjoy the beauty of nature. But I have promises to keep. Who is I? The poet. Promises, responsibilities of life. He says he wants to enjoy the beauty of nature, but he has responsibilities to fulfill. Responsibilities of his children, his wife, his parents. So he cannot stand there to enjoy the beauty of nature. He has to go back. And miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. So he continued his journey because he has to reach his destination before going to sleep. Let's review the poem. Stopping by woods on a snowy evening. The poet was going back to his house. He passed by a little forest that was filled up with snow. He stops there. Whose woods these are? I think I know. He says that he knows about the owner of the woods. His house is in the village, and he will not see him stopping in his forest and watching the beauty of woods and snowfall. He says that his little horse must think it strange that why am I standing here without any farmhouse? And they are standing between the woods and the frozen lake. Without any purpose on the darkest evening of the year. The horse was feeling it strange, so he gives his harness bells a shake to ask his master that if he is making any mistake by standing aimlessly there. The only sound they could hear is of gentle wind and snow falling. There was no other sound. The poet says that the woods are very lovely, very beautiful, very dark and deep. But he has responsibilities to fulfill, and he has to go miles before going to sleep. He has to reach his destination before going to sleep. So he continued his journey. So we are done with the poem. Take care and stay safe.